we okay? We're
It's a
good?
very quiet crowd
Okay.
this morning.
They're waiting.
Anticipation of an
Yeah.
exciting meeting.
Sorry.
We're gonna let you down. It's not gonna be too exciting.
Well, thanks for your patience. We were having a few technical difficulties this morning, and thanks for being here. I'll call to order the August 20th meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners. Note the presence of all three commissioners. Commissioner Makisha is online. So I will have Jeff Scott and his son. Remind me your son's name. Jason. I'm going to have you lead us in the pledge, not to put you on the spot.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job, Jason. All right. Thanks all for being here. Hope everyone's had a good summer. I can't believe that we're almost back to school and the summer is almost over. My kids start school on the 31st, so I've got another week or so of juggling the family before they go back to school. So I have a few comments this morning. First, we all know that this year marks the 25th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, in which thousands of lives were lost. Yesterday, we announced that the county's monument to commemorate the 9/11 attacks will be moving back to Norristown. Some of you may recall that the county's 9/11 memorial was relocated from the courthouse to our Emergency Operations Center in Eagleville in 2021. We decided, and this was in partnership with Commissioner DeBello, to make this move in order to allow more public access and visibility to the monument. I want to take a moment to thank the Philadelphia Building Trades members, volunteers, and businesses who have generously donated their time, talent, and materials to help facilitate this move, all in an effort to save taxpayer money. And I want to also thank the Norristown Council, who voted to provide this permanent space in Elmwood Park. There will be a public procession of the memorial through Lower Providence, West Narnton, and Norristown. The procession will begin at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, September 1st. And we have established a few public viewing areas to watch the procession: Centennial Park in West Narnton Township, Lower Providence Fire Department, and Elmwood Park in Norristown. Then on Friday, September 11th, we'll be hosting a rededication ceremony for the memorial at 10 a.m. at its new home in Elmwood Park. I'd like to just give Commissioner DeBello an opportunity to share a few thoughts on this project.
Thank you. As Commissioner Weiner mentioned, I mean, last year, I forget what part of last year when I brought it up about us looking at moving this memorial, and once again, it demonstrated how the three of us talked about this and, felt that working together, we were going to get this done. And Commissioner Weiner and myself, over the last couple of weeks, have kind of really been spearheading this. Not that Commissioner Makisha wasn't involved or not supportive, but as your commissioners, this is how we operate sometimes, where we kind of divide and conquer on initiatives throughout Montgomery County. And so this was one initiative where we were working together on getting this memorial moved. And when this first came up, when we were talking about this, we got bids to actually move it between $300,000 and $400,000 to move this memorial, and we were trying to figure out, like, this is something that we wanted to push, as an expense. And we start reaching out to different organizations, the labor unions, the businesses, and all that. And we kind of start proposing it. And what's amazing, and we'll talk more about this later, when we move it, and actually at the ceremony itself, we'll have a full list of everyone that contributed. But what was amazing, as soon as one got involved, it was just like everyone understood the importance of this memorial and why it was important to get it to a place where the community was able to view it and see it again. And it was just amazing. It was amazing how everyone just stepped up and said, yeah, let's get this done. And so it's a minimal cost to the county. There were some things we had to buy for supply, like anchor bolts or whatever it may be, but we were able to do this entire move, saving, the taxpayers over $300,000, and that's really demonstrates, our community, and how we all come together here in Montgomery County to make something like this happen. So we're really proud to be able to have this occur. We're really excited about the procession. We've already decided it's not going to rain, so keep good thoughts to keep the rain away on September 1st. And so if you have the time, please, we showed the route, so if you have the time, please be out and support this and view the memorial as we're coming down from the current location to where it's at the over Elmwood Park. And then we're going to have an awesome memorial service on 9/11 itself, recognizing the 25 years at the park as well. So we would encourage everyone to come as well. I can't believe it's 25 years, but it's definitely warrant, and we're going to be there. So again, thank you for all of the volunteers, businesses, the staff here at Montgomery County as well, and my fellow commissioners for us all working together to get this memorial moved in a timely fashion.
Great, thank you. Speaking of honoring our law enforcement partners, earlier this month, I was able to attend several National Night Out events. National Night Out has grown into a national movement over the past 40 years. It's a way for communities to feel connected with the police and first responders who serve them. I stopped by the community's events in Plymouth and Norristown, and it was great to see so many friends and neighbors. I know municipalities across Mako had great turnouts too. This event builds a sense of community between residents and law enforcement, and I'm always happy to participate. And if you didn't get to go to an event this year, I would encourage you to join next year. It's a really great event. Next, it's my pleasure to honor a few guests that we have here today. Would Crystal and George Sullivan please stand? There, okay? Just Crystal today. We'll take just Crystal. Well, Crystal and George are recent recipients of the PA Department of Health's 2026 Permanent Family Recognition Awards. They have devoted themselves to parenting for 25 years. In addition to raising children of their own, they have also fostered and adopted children into a safe and happy home. The Sullivan home has been a lifeline to so many children, particularly those with special needs or those impacted by trauma. One of the things I find most inspiring is not just your generosity, but your adaptability. You meet each child who entered your home with empathy and understanding. And I probably could take some parenting tips from you. Crystal, and send our note of thanks to George. We want to thank you for being with us today. You have been guardian angels to so many children in our community, and you truly are an inspiration for all parents, and myself included. So why don't you come on up, and we'll take a picture with you. Just a little.
Perfect. Look right here. Great. One more. 3, 2, 1. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Next, we're joined by Montgomery County's 2026 Poet Laureate, Dr. Michelle Reale. Great. Thank you for being here. Well, Michelle, can you please stand for us so we can acknowledge you? So I learned that the Montgomery County Poet Laureate program exists outside of the county. This is a position that this Board of Commissioner appoints. I don't know if Commissioner DeBello and I are any good at judging poetry.
I'm not.
But it's certainly something we want to celebrate. Michelle is an Ambler native who leads the creative writing MFA program at Arcadia University. As our poet laureate, she will be serving as an ambassador for poetry and creative writing in our county. And the goal is to increase access to workshops and readings for poets and create wider interest in poetry among readers. So being poet laureate isn't just something you brag about, it's a chance you are really taking to make our community a better place and give exposure to your field. So congratulations, Michelle, on this honor, and we are so proud of you, and thanks for joining us today. Do you want to come up for a picture? Can you, or do you want, we'll come down there.
The director of the program with
Oh,
me.
yes.
Brought me.
Oh, yes, awesome, that's great, all right. Well, why don't we come down here and talk.
Look here. You guys want to scoot over just a little bit? There we go. 3, 2. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good thing I changed from my flip-flops to my dress shoes. All right. Finally, while I can't believe summer is coming to an end, we know that September is National Recovery Month. Recovery is something that I've shared publicly and is very close to my heart and my family's history. I'm pleased to share that on Wednesday, September 9th, I'll be hosting our second annual Reflections on Recovery event along with my brother Randy, and we'll be joined by Congresswoman Madeline Dean and her son Harry. Together, we'll share our family's experiences with both addiction and recovery, and we'll discuss ongoing work in Montgomery County and beyond that offer hope to individuals and families like ours. The event takes place on Wednesday, September 9th from 3 to 5 at Temple Ambler. We'll have community organizations there that are dedicated to recovery, tabling at this event. This will be a safe place for anyone in recovery or someone that is close to someone in recovery to hear from people who have shared their experiences. Our goal is to offer hope and a path forward one day at a time. Next, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Commissioner Makisha.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Sorry I can't be there in person. We've got a lot of great things coming up. First, I'll just say last week you may have seen that Montgomery County sued several social media companies, and we did this to hold them accountable for the harm that the platforms can cause to mental health and well-being of our young residents. And you may have seen many municipalities, counties across the country doing this. It's very similar to the opioid litigation. When you start these kinds of cases, the information you discover is incredible in terms of what the companies know and have known. Many of you may know Mark Zuckerberg said a number of years ago that they know that the more time young people spend on Facebook, the more likely they are to have depression. And yet the companies aren't doing anything to change their algorithms or the content that they serve. All of it is driven to, drive clicks and engagement and without any consequence or consideration for the effects. So we've now joined the lawsuit. We have almost 200,000 minors in our county, and one of the most important jobs for us is to protect their safety. I hope we land in a place where we have with the opioid litigation, where we now have funds that we're using on the first 24/7 mental health crisis center we're opening later this year. But more than that is to change the conduct of the companies. So stay tuned on that. It's part of a larger effort that the county is engaged in to support mental health and also affirmative litigation that we've built out a capacity for over the past year or so. So stay tuned on more there. Second, last month I rode with the DA's office and local law enforcement in the Wheels of Justice ride for the Bend to the Shore. And it's an annual ride that's happened, I think, almost 40 years now, started by DA Risa Vetri Furman, now judge, and led by Kevin Steele now. And together the team raised $177,000 for families of fallen police officers and injured first responders. It's always a really great ride. It's great to see all of the local law enforcement first responders who show up and who are on the team. It gave me another thought, which is I've been thinking of how to celebrate my birthday this year. I'm turning 40. And it turns out the length of Montco is 40 miles exactly from West Pottsgrove to Ballackinwood on the Schuylkill River Trail. So anyone who wants to join the Tour de Montco, Sunday, September 13th, will be riding from West Pottsgrove to Ballackinwood. You'll get some history lessons at Valley Forge, and maybe we'll stop by the dam and check out, Lee, when the hydroelectric dam is going to be done, and I'll give a brief update on that. But I invite my fellow commissioners to come with me. If you want to do the 40 miles, you can do a segment. It'll be a lot of fun. So if you want to join the ride, register online by September 4th. Hopefully we'll make this annual thing for trail safety and supporting all the good work. We have a really exciting announcement later in September, which is that we'll be finished with a major portion of the Schuylkill Trail in Pottstown that's going to connect, which we'll have more to say, and we'll have a ribbon cutting there in September. So let's see. Next up, we've got Valley Forge. They've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up, including I just read about the Jazz Fest in September. But Montco's been very busy this summer. Our region hosted the America 250, World Cup, PGA, and more. And according to the Tourism Board, we've set new records. So in May, June, July, we saw record numbers for hotel revenue. Overall, an increase of 10% compared to last year. And each month we did better than the last. So we were actually the leader across all of suburban Southeast PA. And that's something to celebrate, something to recognize, and something to build on for future occasions. And I'll just note, we've got something on the agenda today, which are guidelines for the use of AI in the county. And I want to thank our AI Council, which launched last year, for producing this in collaboration with the staff. It's really important right now to give the public a sense that when AI is being deployed, it's actually serving the public interest. And this is a step towards doing that. So we'll learn more about it when it comes up on the agenda, but I just want to thank everyone who's a part of making that happen. Finally, this Saturday, August 22nd, is Montgomery County's inaugural Black Author and Business Expo. It's at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And there will be over 100 authors, entrepreneurs, and community leaders participating. Nearly 500 people have already registered, which is pretty amazing. So thank you to Dr. Vidra Jackson and her team for the work they put into making the event a reality. Encourage everyone to stop by Saturday, discover new authors and books, and also learn from other entrepreneurs about how to grow their businesses. So with that, I'll just note we have the Board of Elections after this, and we'll be discussing an update to the ballot curing policy in that meeting. I'll turn it over to Commissioner DeBello.
Thank you. How's the weather where you're at, Commissioner McKeisha?
I'm not that far away. It's like it's the same as Norristown.
Huh? Same as Norristown? Okay. Alrighty, so a few things to cover real quick. I talked about the memorial, but, one of the other things that we do here in Montgomery County is we are constantly looking at our stormwater management, and we have been proactively all year working on improving the drainage and to reduce flooding in areas there's a lot of what we call culvert work going on throughout Montgomery County. We generally work very closely and we follow recommendations from the Perkiomen watershed flooding study. And that's why it's so important for us, for them and us to continue to do those studies and these projects. There's been a lot of work that's been completed or it's underway. There's 190 culverts that the county maintains. Culverts might not be the coolest thing you've ever heard about, but they're extremely important. The roadside drainage systems and some of our existing culverts are in need of, as mentioned, in need of replacement. So later in the meeting, we will be voting on several contracts related to culvert maintenance across our parks, trails, and historic sites. And so we want to keep making sure that our team is well prepared to keep our community safe when storms hit. We also, as Commissioner McKeesia mentioned, this past summer, has been a big year of celebrating America 250. As far as, we had the FIFA soccer tournaments, the celebrations, the Major League All-Star game, and it's just been a great summer for tourism and all that. But also, there's been a lot of work behind the scenes ensuring that our communities were safe and secure during all these major events. So we just wanted to share that we got a letter from the Department of Public Safety honoring honoring the work by the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, also known as PEMA. PEMA gave a huge shout out to our DPS director, Brian McCowan, Jake Fryer, and our Assistant Director of Emergency Management for Special Operations, and our Urban Search and Rescue Manager, Joseph Disher. With their great work, PEMA was able to establish operation sites and staging areas, really improve their readiness for the major events. We know that being prepared is everything in public safety. So thank you to all those gentlemen and everyone that was involved and all of the DPS for their great work this summer, keeping everyone safe, secure. And as mentioned, we broke all kind of records with tourism coming to our area. So it was a great summer, and we're all very happy that there was no major events that we had to be concerned with. But it was a great team, a lot of planning, a lot of work going on behind the scenes that no one actually even knew what was happening. Next up is, which will be, I believe, our third opportunity to participate in the Valley Forge Freedom from Hunger Drive. That's where last year Commissioner Weiner and myself participated, and we served ice cream, making sundaes, and we will be participating again this year as well. And so it's an opportunity for us to work with Valley Forge Tourism, serving some food to those in need. Valley Forge is really a great partner to us on many fronts, and their Freedom from Hunger Drive is one of their most impactful programs. To date, they have raised the equivalent of 1.7 million, I'll say that again, 1.7 million pounds of food, and the number will continue to grow in the upcoming months. So we look forward to helping and participating in this year's Valley Forge Freedom from Hunger Drive. Actually, tonight I'm going to be attending and honoring the Limerick Township Police Chief, Bob Matalavich. Bob is retiring after 39 years of service to Limerick Police Department. He actually established the Limerick K-9 unit back in 1999. He's done an incredible job working for the Limerick Police and surrounding communities. He's very well honored and appreciated and respected in the area. So we want to have Bob have an incredible retirement, because over his 39 years, he was dedicated to public service, and so we want to help celebrate and dedicate his retirement this evening. Next, this past Sunday, we had the annual Monco Farmers Gathering in Gilbertsville. It was a great chance to meet with some of our farmers in the county, and for the farmers to learn more about the programs we offer and the programs that we can help them get access to, like our agricultural grants. So there was actually even a live band performing that evening, and this was the biggest one. I believe when they had the first one roughly 4 or 5 years ago, there were about 30, 40 people that were in attendance, and as you can see, it has grown to this year. It was up almost, I believe, almost 200 or a little over 200 farmers throughout Montgomery County. So I want to thank our Planning Commission for help organizing this event, as well as the Montgomery County Farm Bureau. It was a great event. And I know the farmers in the area really appreciate that we take the time to recognize them for everything that they're doing for our local community. And we want to do everything to continue to support our farmers, because as we know, farming is essential to not only locally, but across our country as well. Over the past 2 weekends, I attended at the Holy Savior Parish in Norristown. There was the MSS procession this past weekend, and the weekend before was the Holy Savior Club procession. And it's a great to see this long-standing Italian-American tradition throughout Norristown. It's been going on for over 100 years, and it's a tradition that hopefully will continue. And I was happy to join the club and all of the volunteers and workers at a luncheon, and they had a wonderful feast in the back of the club, which is right up the street here in Norristown. And the weather actually held out this past Sunday. The rain started right after the procession ended. So, but again, it's great to be out there supporting such a wonderful tradition here in Norristown. And finally, it's my opportunity this month to congratulate our Way to Go winners. This is our opportunity to recognize some of our county employees who have been recognized by their peers for outstanding service to the county. So I know William Doherty, you're here, right? There he is back there. But we'll come back to you since you're here. A few of our other Way to Go winners weren't able to make the meeting this morning. So we'll start with Charlene Arlilo, our Mental Health Children's Clinical Services Manager with our Office of Mental Health within HHS. Charlie McCarthy, one of our security officers at the Pottstown facility. Mary Maloney, an assistant to our fiscal deputy county admin within our courts. And Barbara Matthew, district court clerk at the district court 38-110, and as also William Doherty, who is a plumber fitter in our public's property with our assets and infrastructure. All the co-workers have reached out and said that they all they're recognized this morning do an outstanding job. Their work ethic is professional and impeccable, and they are great team players and work very hard on providing quick resolutions to whatever issues or problems that they are faced with, and they're very well appreciated for everything that they do for here in Montgomery County, as well as us as board commissioners appreciate everything that they do as well. So why don't we bring William on up, and we'll try to get a picture with him as well. So just a big
Scoot Thank you.
Congratulations. So how about a big round of applause for all our way to go winners again?
All right.
Okay.
We're good. All right, next up, presentation. We have one by our new CFO, Ryan.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Commissioners. So, wrong presentation.
That's all right.
So is it- Okay. So today I'll be doing an update on county finances and planning for the 2027 budget. Go to the next slide, please. Okay. So first we'll review the performance for 2026 on the revenue and expenditure side, and then we'll review the financial planning and budget process for the 2027 budget. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so for this is for the general fund as of June 30th. So to date, through June 30, we collected nearly 70% of the general fund revenue budget. The vast majority of that is real estate taxes. As I mentioned at the last presentation, at the end of June, real estate taxes are really heavily weighted in May and June. So through June 30th, we actually collected roughly 90% of property taxes for the county. We expect the other 10% will come in. We've had some, there's been a few appeals that'll be hitting this year. We'll have more information on that at the next update. But we expect the federal and state grants will grow for the rest of the year. And the real estate taxes will roughly be 53 or 54% of our total revenue. Next slide, please. So some emerging trends. So the discount period ended on April 1st and the flat period ended June 30th. So with that, that's why we collect the majority of our property taxes before June 30th. As I said, roughly 90% has been collected through 6/30. The investment income is actually trending to outperform the budget this year. The expectation when the budget was established was that there would be cuts in the federal rate. It has not happened. So with the rate staying higher, it's actually favorably impacting our investments. Also, we increased the state gaming revenue budget for 26 based on prior activity. And the trend that we're seeing so far is that will continue, and we expect to make our target. Next slide, please. On the expenditure side, through June 30th, so halfway through the year, we're roughly 50% expended, which is what we would expect. Controllable expenses represent 37.8% of total spending, and personnel at 43.2% are our two largest areas of spending. Next slide, please. So overall personnel expenses are actually trending below budget through June. Let's see, we have roughly 44.3% of our anticipated budget spent on compensation. For controllable expenses, however, we're a little bit over. We're at 52.7% on the controllable expenses. The driver for that is that the controllables include contract services to cover vacant positions. So the salary savings is slightly offset by controllable expenses. Debt service is in line with budget, and as we mentioned at the last meeting as well, energy costs will remain stable for 26 due to contracts. 27, it's a risk item to monitor. Next slide, please. For capital fund expenditures through June 30th, our largest project is the Justice Center is only 17% spent. We expect that will change dramatically over the next several months. There's three projects on here that appear to be over budget for the year. The voter services, election equipment, we are expecting a rebate that hasn't posted yet, so that'll be under budget. The other two projects are examples of projects that work began in 2025, and there was delays in completing the work or in invoicing, so they were actually posted this year. Both projects will finish under budget in total. So through the year, we've spent around $41 million, which is roughly 40% of our total budget for the year. Okay. Next slide, please. So on the 2026 budget, there are some cost containment efforts that are ongoing. We've been working with a partner from Rios to identify opportunities. We've identified several that we're implementing already. So we've identified some savings in overtime spending, some duplicate software licenses. So we'll be transitioning away from the duplicates. As I mentioned, we have some pretty significant vacancy savings. And we've also identified some opportunities to renegotiate some contracts and generate some savings there as well. Risk item for us is the changes in state and federal grant funding. We do know that there are two two changes that will impact us negatively, and we're working on implementing response strategies to offset the reductions while minimizing impact to services. And again, this is a risk area that will require ongoing monitoring as we go into 2027. Next slide, please. So for the 2027 financial planning, the budget meetings will be ending later this month. The review of the operating and capital budget requests for 2027 is already underway, and we'll be doing the info sessions with the commissioners from August through October. The proposed budget will be issued at the November 10th board meeting, and then it'll be followed by public hearings during the November and December commissioner cycle. Next slide. All right. So that is the presentation for August. Any questions?
I don't have any questions. How's it going?
It's going well.
Glad you made the
I
meeting?
feel like every day I learn more, and so
I'm sure you do.
I'm giving myself time, and I know that it'll take, I figure 12 to 18 months I'll be an expert. But in the interim, I feel like I'm picking it up pretty quickly. I have a fantastic team, and the commissioners and my boss especially have been exceptionally gracious, and I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to serve.
Awesome. So I know we'll do these consistently, so we'll at least have a budget update monthly going forward. So thanks for providing this. Any comments or
No, I mean,
questions?
I always appreciate when we take the opportunity to do this, so thank you for that. And, I believe you're, 2 months here now? 2 months in? Is it 2 months? A little more?
A little bit over, yeah.
A little bit over 2 months. So what have you been doing? No. What was kind of not hidden in that presentation, but you kind of glossed over it, and I just want to point out that as the Board of Commissioners, we've been, over the last couple of years since coming on together, we've been working very hard, and you mentioned the company that's working with us to look at cost savings and all that. So we've been doing what we can and looking at all the expenses and everything and trying to figure out, what we could do to cut back on expenses without hindering services within our community. We also, I know you're going to be the advisory committee that we approved. That's going to be underway as well. So there's a lot of good stuff happening in Montgomery County. So we're looking forward to really getting a strong financial foundation in place as we proceed forward. With having, minimal impact on our taxpayers, but still providing the services that we're doing here, that we're proud of being able to do here in Montgomery County. So we look forward to the next couple months and see where we can get to as we close out this year. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, next up, public comment. This is public comment on today's pending votes, and limit is 3 minutes.
David Morgan.
Morning, Commissioners. David Morgan from Ambler. And I'd like to draw your attention to the agenda where we have on page 14 and 15 some surprisingly high numbers. As I was going online last night, I noticed that it was difficult to see the whole page of these page 14s. I had to go left, right, with a lot of scrolling, and it was very difficult to see that widen up and show at a glance what's going on. So on that page 14, there's plenty of them over there, big stacks. If you get to the bottom of the page under Offices of Assets and Infrastructure, we have 62 million, so I call it 63 rounding up, contract award for the Justice Center, Phase 3. And that's followed by 24 rounded up million for Justice Center. Then you go to the next page, page 15, and you see 27, virtually 28 million Justice Center, 2.6 million Justice Center. So I put the round numbers on the back of my meeting agenda notes. I get 63 and 24 is 87 million, then add 28 million and 2.6 is 31 million rounded. So it's a total of 118 million as a surprise, me as a taxpayer. So I just wondered, when we had discussions about the Justice Center, it was mentioning increasing from 415 million, which has been mentioned over years, to about 472 to 480 million. But if I take 415 million and add 118, I get 533 million. And so it's not that range. And so I don't know if you had in the summer any presentations about the Justice Center, but it's been one that's been firmly opposed by the Republican member of the commissioners in the past. And I just know that it's inherited, but is there any way with your new company that Commissioner Bell mentioned, a new company advising you on spending, or the new Citizens Advisory Panel, have they been looking into the ways it can be reduced so that it's capped off safely but not exorbitant for us taxpayers? Last tax year, we had to deal with a $25 million deficit at the end of the year after paring it down, and 4% of tax increase happened with drawdown of reserves. So that 25 is much smaller than 118 million. So I'm not sure if I'm looking at something which has already been factored in, but I'm seeing alarming numbers. The website's hard to see, and I find that this is not a big item in the main agenda. So someone has to go all the way to page 14 after a lot of pages here to see those enormous numbers. So I just wonder if we could have that up here near the top, say, large items for this meeting of spending. Because I know that's one of your goals, but let's see that the public's aware and can come here to the meetings and comment about it.
Thanks, Mr. Morgan. So that's for phase 3 of our Justice Center. So it isn't a surprise expenditure. It's been planned for years, right?
The last 7 years. Yep.
The last 7 years, so we've talked about it. We also issued RFPs for the awards that we'll potentially be voting on today. So I just want to remind you that it's not just a Republican commissioner that cares about the financial spending of this county. It's both Republicans and Democrats. We all take that fiduciary responsibility seriously. So it's not a surprise. We wouldn't do that to taxpayers, and certainly understand your concern. But this has been a part of our capital budget and planning, and it also predates us as a Board of Commissioners. So appreciate you raising it, but it's definitely not a surprise. But
as you mentioned, this was an initiative that we inherited as commissioners coming in, and I'm not going to, I never go back and disparage previous commissioners for decisions that were made, but we are in a position now to, this project is at a point where it can't stop. And so we're doing everything we can internally to ensure that the spending to this project is minimized as much as possible. And I have to agree with Commissioner Weiner that there are no surprises, because we've talked about this. I've talked about it since coming on as county commissioner as well, and it's a 3-phase project. And the total project all three phases was going to come in, was estimated to come in somewhere around $500 million. I know at some point in the near future, we're going to be giving another update on where we're at with the overall project, which will show numbers and all that as well. But the good news is that the bids that are being awarded have come in below what was anticipated. So we are moving in the right direction. The phase 3 of this project, which is the remaining portion of the courthouse, is in dire need of renovation. It's a very old building. There's a lot of issues. The roof is leaking. I mean, there's just a lot that has to happen. And again, so we're going to do everything we can to take this project that we inherited, that we're not going to be able to just stop. And this isn't a Republican or a Democratic. This is a county commissioner that we're working to ensure that the spending on this project, we're trying to keep it in control. We're trying to monitor it. We're doing everything we can to reduce it. And we're trying to stay on schedule or get it back on schedule. So we're doing everything we can to get this project complete. And yes, it does have an impact to the taxpayers, and it's something that we might not have agreed to in the past, but unfortunately, this is where we're coming into something that we have to now honor, that the contracts and agreements that were already put in place, and we're going to get it done, and we're going to do everything we can to minimize it as much as possible. So, but thank you for lifting that up.
Other comments? Okay. Moving on to approval of the minutes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the July 16, 2026 minutes of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, resolutions, authorization of TEFRA approval for Gratz College. Braun Taylor, Esquire.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm Braun Taylor. I am the solicitor for the Horsham Industrial and Commercial Development Authority, otherwise known as HICDA. I'm here today to seek your chief elected official approval as the chief elected officials of Montgomery County for a project HICDA has pending with Gratz College. You will note that this is similar to the approvals that you give to the county IDA on a regular basis. Gratz offers various graduate programs, cultural programs, and adult education offerings in Jewish studies. This project is financing up to $6 million, tax-exempt bonds for various capital expenditures at the college's facilities, including an acquisition, renovation, equipping, and furnishing of a new academic facility to be located in Ballackinwood, and refunding of a taxable loan, the proceeds of which were used to pay part of the cost of this project. The project will also include reserves and the cost of issuing the bonds. And I'm happy to take any questions you might have about the project.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 1 as described by Mr. Taylor. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner DeBello. I almost called you Commissioner Makija. I don't think you look like Commissioner Makija. Any board comment?
I just want to clarify that there's not a direct impact to the county. This is more or less a protocol or procedural thing that we have to do.
Correct. Yeah, this is, does not pledge the taxing authority of the county or Horsham Township. So this is similar to all the other tax-exempt bond financing that you approve.
Yep. Moving to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks. Authorization of 3 funding contracts with the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission for federal highway transit and GIS services. That's a lot.
Yes.
Matt, Transportation Planning Manager.
Good morning, Commissioners and senior staff. I am here on behalf of the Planning Commission to present this action item. We're asking for the Commissioners to approve the yearly contracts that we enter into with the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission. They are, as part of their work program each year, there are pass-through funds, mostly from various federal programs, that come out to each of the member counties of DVRPC, the 9 counties across the Philadelphia region, to help fund our participation as county staff in transportation activities. There are 3 contracts in total. The Supportive Regional Highway Planning Program in the amount of $156,700, the Transit Support Program in the amount of $77,400, and the Region-Wide Transportation GIS contract in the amount of $46,000. For the highway and GIS programs, those are funds that do not require a county match. So this is the federal government effectively paying for staff to work on these programs. For the Transit Supportive Program contract, there is a $36,392 local match, which the Planning Commission provides in-kind staff services. This is a yearly contract, so we will be here hopefully each year, but this is for the new fiscal year that DVRPC has started July 1st, their fiscal year 27 running through June 30th of 2027. Happy to answer any questions.
Great, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2 as described by Matt Popek. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, adoption of guiding principles for artificial intelligence use. Stephanie Tipton.
Good morning. Before the board today is a resolution to adopt Montgomery County's guiding principles for artificial intelligence use. I'm joined this morning by members of the county's AI Council. Several of the members are here, and in particular, members of the AI Governance and Ethics Subcommittee of the Advisory Council, Jeff Scott and Brian McGrin, who have been instrumental in really getting us to this place with the principles and have been working for the past several months on these. Together, we would like to provide a brief overview of the proposed principles, explain the thinking behind them, and respectfully request the board's consideration and adoption of the resolution. Before turning it over to members of the subcommittee to discuss the principles themselves, I want to briefly share why this work is important and the role that these principles are intended to play moving forward. So if we can go to the next slide. Thank you. So why this matters. So I think as all of us are aware, artificial intelligence is no longer something that is just on the horizon. It's already being incorporated into many of the tools and services that governments are using every day. As this technology continues to evolve, we have an opportunity to be proactive as a county rather than reactive in defining how it should be used here in Montgomery County. Importantly, we do not pursue AI for its own sake. We evaluate these technologies based on their ability to improve services, support our workforce, and deliver value for residents while maintaining public trust. So that is why the county has taken what I believe is a very thoughtful and deliberate approach to this work. Questions about AI extend well beyond the technology itself. They touch on how government earns trust and protects information and remains accountable to the public. So these principles are intended to help ensure that innovation and responsibility advance together. And they recognize the potential benefits of AI while also acknowledging that these tools require thoughtful oversight and clear safeguards. So establishing these expectations now gives the county a strong foundation to guide future decisions as the technology continues to evolve. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. So the purpose of these principles is to create a shared framework for how Montgomery County approaches the use of artificial intelligence. We intentionally approach this work at a very high level, and you'll see that when subcommittee members talk to you about the principles themselves. They're not a detailed policy manual, nor are they intended to anticipate every possible use of AI. Instead, what they do is provide us with a foundation that can guide future policies and practices as the county continues to evaluate the role of AI in its operations. In many ways, we view the principles as a North Star for future decision making, and they establish a common set of expectations that we will use as a county to adapt as the technology and our understanding continues to develop. And most importantly, they reinforce that the use of AI by the county should be measured against a simple, question, does it help us better serve residents while maintaining their trust? You can go to the next slide. So these principles, as I mentioned, were developed through the leadership of the AI Governance and Ethics Subcommittee of the Advisory Council on Artificial Intelligence. I sincerely want to thank the members of the subcommittee for the significant time and thoughtful discussion that went into the effort. The recommendations before you today are stronger because they were shaped by people with different experiences and viewpoints, which you'll see here with the membership of the committee itself. I also want to thank the internal staff who have been working alongside the external members of the subcommittee, so members of ITS, our Office of Innovation Strategy and Performance, the Solicitor's Office, have been working alongside as we've developed these principles together. The composition of the subcommittee, I think, reflects the county's overall approach to AI that I mentioned earlier. We really sought to bring in people from different backgrounds because the responsible use of these tools requires more than just technical knowledge. It also requires us to consider how the decisions affect residents and whether those decisions reflect our values as a public organization. The result, I believe, is a set of principles that is practical and balanced, and they do not advocate for technology's sake, as I mentioned. Rather, they establish the expectations for how the county can thoughtfully evaluate these tools. The principles you will hear about today are a result of these conversations and perspectives from the members. So with that, I will invite Jeff and Brian to walk us through the principles and the discussion that went into informing them. So Jeff, turn it over.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Good morning, commissioners and senior staff. Jeff Scott, chair of the subcommittee. And I just want to say before I start talking about the principles that I think for all of us on the subcommittee, I think this was a great opportunity to do something that we do in our regular day-to-day jobs, but do it for the county, do it for public service, which I think was a great opportunity so far. This is our first deliverable for the subcommittee. I think Stephanie did a great job explaining, that where you would put this in terms of those deliverables. That down the road, we hope to come with a more detailed policy, recommendations on governance, recommendations around how to adopt third-party uses of AI as the county brings those into the county. But today, it's really about that North Star, these 5 principles, both for folks who work within the county and thinking about AI, and then for the public at large. And unlike a detailed policy, these things are something that people could digest and understand and quickly reference where is the county going with AI. This kind of tells you where. You can go to the next. So we're going to talk real quickly about each of the 5 principles. We won't belabor it. Brian's also going to talk about some additional concrete action items that we're going to kind of agree to, both the AI Council and county staff, and some timelines for those things. That's in addition to some of the other deliverables I talked about. So the first principle is really about transparency, about thinking about why if someone wants to know is AI being used right in the delivery of services. I think that's kind of a first bar of people feel comfortable with the county's use of AI, but then also to the extent that it's possible, right, that the AI systems, how they operate, how they make recommendations, and obviously the further additional principles talk about how this is a tools to make recommendations, not to make decisions necessarily, right? You still want that human in the loop, but how that the idea would be to try to make that as transparent as possible. Maybe go to the next. So the next one is really about fairness, ethics, and equitable services. And I think the first thing I would say about this principle is that because we're talking about county government, because we're talking about access to service, that equity, which we may debate in the private sector, how much that's important, but in the public sector, I think you have an opportunity with AI to make things more equitable, make services more accessible to folks, and more efficient. And so, but that only, people are only going to accept that, right, if they know that it's being done in a fair and ethical way. So I think, to make sure that the county, when it does adopt AI, whether from third parties or developed internally, to ensure that bias does not come in to the process, to make sure we're thinking about that in a way that would make the AI potentially unfair or biased in any way. So this principle is really try to set that out when thinking about how AI is being used and consumed by the county. So turn it over to my colleague Brian to talk about the rest of our principles here.
So the third principle is privacy by design. So data protection, the committee determined, should be really built into the AI tool development and adoption from the start. So big things that we're trying to accomplish there: minimize personal data use wherever possible, apply safeguards such as data anonymization, as well as access controls of who can actually get access to that data, carry data protection from the collection of when it's actually being brought in to actually monitoring how it's being used, how it's being stored. Next. The next principle is human accountability. So this would be the county staff, the decision makers that are using these AI tools. We feel that AI should be able to assist in making decisions, but it doesn't replace county staff responsibility for the outcomes that affect the residents. And the term that you hear is human in the loop. So you can use the tools, but the human is the one that's ultimately making the decisions. So as part of that, exercise county oversight over the different AI use cases. Make sure everyone's transparent on what we're doing in terms of where the AI is being used. Review and verify the outputs before relying on them. So making sure that just because, it saw this, well, let's actually have a human make sure that we take, this is accurate before we take action on it, just because the AI tool may have suggested something. As well as tailoring employee training to the operational needs. So making sure that the employees that are using the tools understand how they work, how they fit into the bigger scheme of the county operations. Finally, we have vendor accountability. So the technology partners should meet the same standards that the county is setting for itself. So what we saw as a committee as we were discussing is that the county is largely not going to be going out and building necessarily their own AI software products. They're going to be using off-the-shelf or custom solutions that are coming in from the outside. What we want to be able to do is make sure that there's transparency on that vendor AI use, what's happening with the data, where's the data coming from, where is it going, what are they doing with it, as well as making sure that they incorporate AI-related requirements and data protections into the agreements of understanding, and the example that was thrown around when we met was 23andMe, which was a company that does, you can test your data and see who your relatives are, all over the place. The company then went bankrupt, and suddenly the data was all for sale. So those were the things where we want to make sure that there's protections in place in those agreements. So when the data is collected, we know what's happening with it and kind of what that lifespan looks like. Third point of that, one sec. It's okay. Third point of that is considering the vendor information when evaluating those risks, the benefits of what the products are bringing to the table, and looking at the safeguards that are built in, either built into the product itself or the safeguards built into the agreements with those vendors. So in terms of action items that we're going to be suggesting that are rolled out, the next 90 days, publishing a public registry of the AI platforms that substantially inform decisions affecting residents' health, safety, financial well-being, or access to county services. So get a list of all the tools that are being used. The next 180 days, provide baseline measurements to evaluate how AI tools improve services related to resident outcomes. So looking at, are there actually positive impacts from using the AI tools, and what does that look like for our residents as well as our staff? Also within the next 180 days, establish a countywide data classification framework. So, for example, the data that someone might be putting in to apply for a permit to put in a garden shed is different than the data they're using for county medical assistance or protection from, domestic situations, whatever those might be. But making sure that there is a data classification, and then that potentially plays into which tools are we comfortable using. You might be comfortable using a tool that has lesser protections for, I'm just making this up, but, applying for the shed permit versus the county health, health information, those types of things. Within the next 90 days, develop an updated AI curriculum for the county employees so they have a sense of what's going on, what they need for their jobs, how that relates to the technology that they're using. And then finally, an action that's already in progress relates to the vendors. So the AI and data protection terms that are being developed and incorporated into the contracts. So this is already happening in terms of new agreements going forward, of making sure that those vendor protections that we talked about are being considered as the county enters into new agreements with technology providers, updating agreements with existing providers as the contracts allow. So those were the 5 principles that the committee came up with. These are the concrete action items that will be undertaken in the next 180 days. I open the floor to any questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. I'll just get a motion on the floor, and then if we have any comments or questions, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 3 as described by Stephanie Tipton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Makija. Any board comment?
I'll just make a quick comment. I'm glad to see in this policy that we touched upon some very key aspects of implementing AI in the county. One of them is definitely data protection. And as you gave a good example of the different types of data that we're going to capture on people, depending on if it's just getting a permit, versus something else. And we have to ensure and do everything we can to protect that data. So that's really good that that's going to be a core aspect of what we're doing here. And the other part of it is, as AI continues to evolve, what we are still learning is that just because ChatGPT or whatever company out there that you might utilize for AI, it doesn't necessarily mean the information that comes back is 100% accurate. So information verification is extremely important. So as we continue to advance our objective here in AI, because look, no one, I believe, could argue that as we move forward, AI is going to be extremely beneficial here in Montgomery County and a lot of other places, because we could help provide information, help with process and procedures throughout the county. There's a lot of things that it will be very beneficial to our community, but we're going to do everything we can to secure the data, provide the information that's accurate, reliable, and also, believe it or not, and you touched upon the third point that I wanted to highlight, is that sometimes some of the information that currently comes back through some of these AI tools is biased, and we have to work very hard to ensure that the information that we provide is non-biased, and so there's, and you hit some on, I don't want to devalue some of the other things you talked about, but there are 3 very key aspects of AI, and as mentioned before, I spent almost 30 years in the technology industry, so I've seen the evolution of AI going back many, many years, and it's amazing to see how it's starting to advance so quickly. So we have to utilize it where we can, but we have to also be very secure and safe in what we're providing. So again, thank you for all that information you provided today.
And I want to acknowledge how busy the council is. You all have day jobs and other things going on in your lives. And when we established this council, this is how we, help bring outside expertise to really think through how do we approach certain issues and innovations that are involved in our work. And as somebody that also uses AI, and I've been in education technology, you know, I think we have to use it responsibly, and the work that you all have done really helps us tremendously. You know, we want AI's here, it's not going anywhere. I know there are a lot of organizations that are quite stubborn about the limitations, but there's so much opportunity as it relates to AI. Just need to do it responsibly. So I just want to thank you for lending your time and talents to our county team to help us think it through. So, all right.
Yeah, I'll just add, you know, first, thank you to the council, of course, and I've had the opportunity to sit with many of you and talk to the committee co-chairs, and really can't overstate how lucky we are to have the time of many of the folks who are serving on the committee. You're at the top of your fields in terms of the work you're doing, and you know, it's really good for the county to have your expertise and knowledge. Second, you know, what I think is really important about this, and it's not just the guidelines, and I'm glad the staff incorporated in the resolution requirements in terms of what the county is going to do and produce as a result, including within 90 days a public registry of the platforms that we're utilizing, within 180 days the measures to determine whether the AI is improving services and outcomes, and ensuring that we update employee training for all of these tools, because it's going to cover a broad range of activities, and it in terms of the AI platforms that we're utilizing. And the things that people are most concerned about right now might be in one area of government. Particularly, you might have seen Abington Police Department stop using flock cameras, or is going to let their contract expire with that company. That's, you know, one area in terms of law enforcement, surveillance that many members of the public are concerned about. And the starting point should be transparency. What are we using AI for? What is it doing to assist in decisions? And even if the AI platform itself is helpful in public safety or any other context, what are the safeguards in place for people who might misuse it? Which is a whole other category of training that's really important, because right now we're talking about the fear of the way it might operate on its own, or the way AI, you know, kind of as a concept, is operating. But really, it's about how people interact with it and how people are going to use the tools, and whether they're used or misused is a whole other set of concerns. So. This clearly lays out a framework that starts with transparency, and that's where we publish the registry of all the platforms we're using. And the timeline really syncs up with our budget process. So it's very important when we have our budget meetings and when the team meets with the department heads that we have the registry fully that it's robust, and that we are accounting for every use. So, that should really be a part of our budget process as well. But, I'll just say thanks again for everyone who's worked on this. And there's still a lot more work to come, because there's enormous potential for AI to help make government more accessible, faster, more responsive, but also be harmful if it isn't. So glad we're establishing this, and I thank my colleagues for their support for the beginnings of the council and moving this forward.
Okay, moving to a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next up, authorization to update the bylaws of the Sustainability Committee. Davey.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Davy Ramkasoon. I serve as the Chief Sustainability Officer here in the county. I'm here to request your approval of the resolution you see before you, which allows for the continuation of a Sustainability Committee for Montgomery County. On May 16, 2019, by Resolution 19-C.181, the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners established a Sustainability Committee. At that time, the county commissioners authorized the Sustainability Committee to review county practices, policies, and procedures in order to plan, recommend, implement, and report on the efforts of Montgomery County government to increase sustainability efforts. At this time, the county desires to update the bylaws of the County Sustainability Committee to reflect its current goals and purpose, and to formalize a sustainability plan that will minimize harm to the environment and promote using resources sustainably. This will include focusing on resource management, reducing reliance on non-renewable resources, and reducing waste. The resolution also authorizes Montgomery County's Chief Operating Officer to appoint or replace members of the Sustainability Committee as necessary to complete the goals of the committee and to formalize a sustainability plan for the county. Thank you for your consideration. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 4 as described by Davy Ramkasoon. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Thank
Aye.
you. All right, next up, personnel list.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
You have in front of you the final copy of the personnel list. It is a 4-page document dated August 19, 2026, with a timestamp of 11:48 a.m. All positions have been reviewed and are presented for your consideration.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve the August 20th, 2026 personnel presentation as given by Mr. Anthony Brew. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Motion
Aye.
carries.
There it is.
Yeah. Thank you. Next up, advertisement of bids and RFPs, Montgomery County Exhibit A. I'd like to make a motion to approve the advertisement of bids and RFPs for Montgomery County on attached Exhibit A. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, awards of contract, Montgomery County Exhibit B. I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract awards, amendments, and renewals for Montgomery County on attached Exhibit B. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, awards of contract, Southeast PA Regional Task Force, Exhibit C. I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract awards, amendments, and renewals for Southeast PA Regional Task Force on attached Exhibit C. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment?
Yes, David Morgan.
David Morgan of Ambler. I'd like to mention, just to continue a little bit about that Justice-centered discussion, that clarity is really helpful. I mentioned how it's hard to read the pages on the website when you have the grid there with offices of infrastructure. I'd like to encourage it to be delineated with the courthouse, the old courthouse, and the new Justice Center building. So I understand the new Justice Center building is up to 480 million increase, but maybe I'm wrong. So if that could be clarified, because the roof leaking in the courthouse is a different matter. I know it's county campus. So for the public to understand clearly how are we going up, what might affect our taxes in each of these categories would be really helpful for me, at least. Then I wouldn't talk so much about these things. So that the next thing is I support that social media initiative to challenge the dragging on of time in our young people. I can't get over some of the hours a day that are spent on a device looking down at it. And that could be involved with face-to-face events and going to out in nature and just being out away from these things which are just consuming. So I heartily support that. And then I also support your efforts on the Parent Infant Resource Guide. As you know, I've mentioned that several times. I got a copy again from the back there, and I know that various health pregnancy resource centers have found them to be wonderful, and so I understand it's going to be revised. I wouldn't mind seeing the new ideas for revising it, but if I could be of help in that area, I think it's just that life-giving aspect of it, that people know there's pregnancy resource help when they're in a situation that they're pregnant. I think it's wonderful. So we have liberty and justice and life for all. Every person, born or unborn, is given opportunity. And then the last thing I really liked is that permanent family recognition you had early in the meeting, because the stability of our families is so important, and to encourage that a lot. Sometimes in the area of human trafficking, some of the people who are discovered, some of the children, need a home. And so if we have access to families like the Family Honor today to really help out these young children escape what they were been through, it would be great. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Mr. Morgan. Okay. Any closing commissioner comments? Okay. Hearing none. Next Board of Commissioners meeting will be September 3rd at 10 a.m. in the boardroom. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the August 20th, 2026 meeting of the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Seconded by Commissioner Makija. Any board comment? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next up, we have Salary Board. Come on up. Controller Hart. Okay. Is there any public comment for Salary Board?
Yes, Gordon McGowan. There you go.
Okay. Do you want to?
So we have Chris Drum. Is there Chris Drum?
No?
No?
Okay, all right. Got it? Okay.
Good?
You're on.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right, good morning, members of the Salary Board. You should have in front of you the final copy of the Salary Board list. It is a 7-page document dated August 19, 2026, with a timestamp of 11:48 a.m. All positions have been reviewed and are presented for your consideration.
Okay, let's approve the Salary Board list, and then we'll do the acknowledgement. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the August 20th, 2026 Salary Board presentation as given by Mr. Anthony Brew, Chief Human Resource Officer. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Controller Hart. Any board comment?
There's,
Yeah, go
I'm sorry,
ahead.
just real quick comment, under new positions, there's a couple positions for special prosecutor. When I was going through this, I asked, could we add something to outline, or not, to present it as, this is what we say, 3-year term for those that might be looking at the agenda, or this spreadsheet. What that's telling is that these are positions that are through grants, and those grants will go away in 3 years, and the way we're looking at this is those positions will be terminated at the end of those grants in 3 years. So they're not actually new headcount right now that we're adding, and not to say the future, 3 years from now, it may make sense for the county to continue that forward, but right now, these are positions that are grant funded for the next 3 years. Is that the way I'm understanding it?
That's correct.
Thank you.
You're a treasure trove of information.
I try.
Moving to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. So I have 2 presentations. One, I'm going to throw the team through a little bit of a loop here. You don't have to do anything. So first, let's acknowledge our retiree, Joshua Mangle. Right? No? Oh, there you are. Okay, so okay. Yeah. I know it's not you. Are you speaking on? No. Okay, so you're going to speak on somebody else. Okay. I'm going to do Joshua first. Sorry for the confusion. So Montgomery County Adult Probation, Parole, and DUI Services recognizes Joshua upon his retirement and celebrates more than 26 years. I got that right, 26 years? Wow. 26 years of dedicated public service to the county. Your supervisor wasn't able to make it today, but wanted to share a note about you, so I can take no credit for writing this. Josh began his career with the department on March 27, 2000, as a probation officer assigned to supervision caseload in the Willow Grove Courthouse Annex. Since then, he has risen through the office to become assistant supervisor and then supervisor. Josh consistently demonstrated a commitment to staff development and officer safety through his service as a defensive tactics instructor, helping to train countless employees throughout his career. Josh exemplified dedication and a steadfast commitment to public service. His contributions have made a lasting impact on the department, his colleagues, the community, and the county as a whole. We extend our sincere gratitude to Josh for his many years of distinguished service and congratulate him on a well-earned retirement. So thank you for your service to the county. It's very rare that you see someone that gives decades worth of service to an organization, but to public service. And I can only imagine the experiences that you've witnessed, and probably the lives that you've changed in the role that you've had with the county. So I hope you have plans to do something way more exciting than and I'm not trying to put it down, but I can imagine how stressful adult probation is. But congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for years of service to the county. Any?
No, I was just gonna, I mean, you did a very good job,
I tried.
But I want to echo everything that Commissioner Winder said. Thank you for 26 years of service here at Montgomery County. I've said this in the past, it's always sad to see, somebody that's dedicated, a large portion of their career here at Montgomery County. But we're also happy for you to be leaving and enjoying going into retirement, so well deserved. And I know many will miss you. But again, we want to congratulate you for everything that you've done here in Montgomery County, all the lives that you impacted in a positive manner. And so again, thank you and enjoy your time now. Just think that first Monday morning when the alarm clock goes off early in the morning, you look at it and say, no, I don't have to go anywhere. So congratulations.
Come on up. We're going to grab a picture with you.
Okay, look right here. 1, 2, 3. Great, thank you.
Gordon, want to come up and say?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good
My name's Gordon McGowan. I'm the Deputy CIO for ITS here. We in ITS have 2 employees retiring next month. First is Tom Pepe, has been here 49 years. He started in 1977 as a punch card operator in our mainframe room over in the courthouse. Since then, Tom went on to become our web developer, was here when our first web page went live in the early 80s, and has been through more website designs than I can even think about. And he was instrumental in the new website going up and live. So he's going to be very missed. I was hoping he'd make 50 years because I figured that like a big proclamation, but I think 49 is pretty good. The second person's name is Roy Bickhart. Roy has been in IT since 2002. He's played many roles throughout our department, from infrastructure to help desk. He was our IT liaison up at TPS for a number of years, and has always stood up and done whatever needed of him. And when he told us he was retiring, I was like, wow, okay, congratulations. And I found out he was 70 years old, and I was like, why have you waited so long? But I'm going to miss both of them. We in IT are going to miss both of them, and we're just happy that they're going to be moving on with the rest of their lives and enjoy some time to themselves. So,
Great.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for honoring Tom and Roy, 49 years.
I know,
can't even
right?
imagine. I'm on my 4th year, and I'm,
I've never
Yeah.
heard of anybody being 49 years. That's
That's
the
amazing.
longest I've heard so
Yeah.
far, so.
Well, we are grateful to their contributions,
Yeah.
and thanks for honoring them today.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I mean, that's great. 49 years, what's amazing when you talked about the punch cards, and over that 49-year period, how much technology that he saw change.
Yeah.
I know when I started school, and I'm going to date myself, but when I started college, we had to use punch cards to reprogram or reboot, I'll call, the big printer that we had at the time. So that's going back a few
Yeah.
years, but.
He still had a stack of punch
He
cards.
does,
in his
yeah.
desk. Yeah, so.
Yeah, a lot of people that were in that punch card era kept, for memory, they kept the stack of punch cards just to say, this was what it was like, and the generation today has no idea because if you drop that punch card stack on the floor, you're screwed. So that's, again, we're sorry to see them leave because of the knowledge and experience that they're taking with them, but, they so well deserve to now enjoy, the rest of their life.
Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, Gordon.
Thank you.
All right. So Sheriff Kilkenny, do you want to come up to the podium?
Sure, and I invite Deputy Van Deven. I want to thank the commissioners, and I want to thank the county controller and the county family. Unfortunately, one of our best young deputies, Tyler, had a tragedy a couple weeks back where his home here in Montgomery County burned to the ground. And it was nice. Our office did a post about it. There was several GoFundMe campaigns from his National Guard unit and such. And everyone, the Sheriff's Office, the Monco Heroes Fund, everybody was reaching out. And I know one of the things that you did, Commissioner Winder, was said, hey, we should look at a county payroll, issue and invite our county employees to say, hey, you want to chip in and help Tyler out. As much as I know budgets are difficult, deputy sheriffs are not wealthy. So when a tragedy like this hits, and there's a lot of things you need to buy, anything from a toothbrush to various other things, I know it is much appreciated. And I want to, and when Controller Hart texted me this morning and said he had a check, I knew Tyler would probably like the check sooner than later. So I texted everyone, got here very impromptu. So sorry to interrupt your meeting. I know you have a lot of things. I know, Tyler, if you want to say something, I know, and stuff.
I just want to say thank you. My family is extremely grateful. Obviously, it's not an easy situation to be in, nor is it a situation anybody wants to be in. But the gratitude and appreciation my family has is tremendous.
Thank you. Well, we didn't want to put you on the spot, but we certainly wanted to get you the check, so I hope you don't mind. And, you do so much for our county and the work that the Sheriff's Office does to just keep us safe and keep our community safe. This is the least we could do. And so I want to thank Controller Hart and Bud for helping to get this thing going, and we have a over $7,000 check from your county colleagues for you. So why don't you come up so we can give it to you. Do we want to take a picture? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, all right. I don't know the. Okay, all right.
All right, 3, 2.
Without the check. Okay, all right, okay, all right. Good. Hope you all are hanging in there. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the August 20th, 2026 meeting of the Montgomery County Salary Board. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Controller Hart. Any board comment? Hearing none. Moving to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Are we ready to go?
Yes.
I can't, okay.
We're ready.
All right, so we will call to order the August 20th, 2026 meeting of the Montgomery County Election Board. Seeing all three commissioners present. I will note we've got a motion today that will expand and improve our ballot curing process if enacted. I'm glad that this is coming up before the board ahead of the upcoming election. So as many of you know, Pennsylvania is a place where counties have had to deal with a lot of whiplash around the counting of misdated and undated ballots or ballots with deficiencies that are immaterial to the voter's registration status and whether they're eligible. And counties have been left with a decision on how to handle allowing residents to cure these ballots or fix the problem to ensure their vote could be counted. So we do have the authority at the county level to determine how voters are notified about issues on their mail-in ballots and how they can fix those errors. Those can be common mistakes like missing a signature or missing the secrecy envelope or having the wrong date on the outside of the envelope. And last year in September, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled that counties must notify voters of mail-in ballot errors and their right to cast a provisional ballot on election day. So in previous elections, Montgomery County has done more than most counties to let people know that there was an issue with their ballot. We published lists of deficient ballots online. We've emailed the voters. We've called the voters personally. And unfortunately, we still see that votes go uncounted every election day. And I have many views on the law in this. I still hope the Pennsylvania Supreme Court rectifies the problem, recognizing that a voter's fundamental constitutional right to vote should demand that the county count their vote, even if there's an immaterial issue with their ballot. But that decision hasn't been made yet. It has come in the Third Circuit, which looked at the Voting Rights Act and whether the VRA demanded that we count the ballots. That decision got vacated. So we're still in this back and forth in the courts. It's not settled. But in the meantime, we found that in 2024, nearly 44% of Montgomery County voters who submitted a deficient mail-in ballot never had their vote counted, even when their ballot mistake could be fixed and even when we knew they were registered citizens. So about 1,186 deficient ballots in Monco were cast in 2024, and 516 of those were not cured. So the policy coming before the board today is a way to improve that rate, essentially a way to ensure that more people who are registered citizens and eligible who cast their mail-in ballots can be confident that they'll be counted. And this actually began, one of the professors at University of Pennsylvania Law School, Michael Morse, who actually began teaching, I think the year after I stopped, he decided to do a paper to help look at the different counties all across Pennsylvania and look at their policies, see which policies were most helpful at reducing the rate of errors of mail-in ballots and ensuring that more residents had their ballots counted. And so Professor Morse did a quantitative study. He released this, and It turns out a very effective means to ensure that we reduce the number of deficient ballots is simply automatically canceling and replacing the ballots and sending new ballots out to anyone who had an error. So in the past, there was a notification process. People would have the opportunity to correct the error. They would have the opportunity to request a new ballot. But the best way to handle this and to reduce the errors is to actually just send a new ballot. So Dauphin County started doing this, and they had the highest curing rate of any county in the Commonwealth that had substantial ballots identified as deficient. So the policy we're considering today is one that originated in Dauphin County and will create a better process to notify voters about correctable ballot issues and how to fix them as quickly as possible. So for voters whose ballots are rejected due to a missing signature, missing secrecy envelope, Montgomery County will automatically send a new ballot to the voter along with an email alert if available. And we'll also give them clear instructions on how to fix ballot issues. Eligible voters should not be disenfranchised because of a small mistake that has no bearing on their registration status. And we want to ensure that we're leading the Commonwealth in pro-voter policies. This goes in line with our voter van, which makes it accessible for seniors and students to vote. It goes in line with a number of the procedures that we put in place to make it easier for people to vote. So that's on the agenda today, and we'll also have a couple of other items that are administrative, including polling location changes that Frank will walk us through. So I will ask if there's any other comments on the election board, and then we'll hear from Frank. No other comments? Okay, actually Mira's going to introduce it, but do we have any public comment?
No public comment.
Okay, so first step, is there a motion to approve the June 8th, 2026 meeting minutes of the Montgomery County Election Board? Seconded. Any board comment? All in favor? Okay, minutes are approved. And moving on to the polling location changes, we'll hear from Mira.
Hi, good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Mira Baleson. I'm Deputy Chief Operating Officer, one of here in Montgomery County. I'd like to request authorization for the relocation of 2 polling locations for the 2026 general election and beyond. The Board of Elections is given authority by the Election Code to relocate polling places as they see fit. These locations are listed in the agenda attachment titled Polling Location Changes for August 20th, 2026 EV meeting. Polling places we would like to authorization to relocate are as follows: Hatboro South 1, Hatboro South 2. Notice has been posted at these locations that the polls are being moved as required by law. Locations have all been notified of the move. In addition to notice being posted, every voter in these precincts will be mailed a new voter ID card indicating the change of location and identifying their new polling location. Those are scheduled to go out in the mail tomorrow pending today's vote. I'm happy to answer any questions you have and request that the board approve these relocations as presented.
Could you quickly just give a reason why we're moving these 2 polling locations?
Sure, thank you, Commissioner. We are moving them because of unstable utility services. This is a precinct where during the primary we had to transport a portable restroom to the site because there was no running water due to a water main break. And the election prior, there were issues with power and heat, so we are simply trying to avoid those issues in the future.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Seems pretty straightforward. Is there a motion to approve the relocation of 2 polling locations listed on the attached document titled Polling Location Changes for August 20th, 2026 Election Board meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Winder. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner DeBello. Any board comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The location changes are approved. All right, so next up, our ballot curing procedure process.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Commissioner. I don't want to restate some of what you have already stated. Before the board is a proposed update to our ballot curing policies and procedures. Currently, our mail-in team, when they detect a potential defect that would preclude us from counting a mail-in ballot, we mark the ballot in the state's SURE system according to the defect, which then generates an email to the voter if they have one on file and gives them an opportunity to request a new ballot package. We also attempt to contact the voter by phone or by sending a letter to their registered address. In an effort to streamline this process, we implemented an electronic method to request a new ballot package 2 years ago. Instead of having to obtain the replacement form, fill it out, and mail it to our office, voters were able to fill out the form through our website, which greatly reduced the turnaround time. Since then, as you noted, Commissioner Makija, multiple jurisdictions have implemented what we're calling quote-unquote automatic ballot curing procedures, where a new ballot package is automatically queued and sent as soon as a potential defect has been detected. The process before the board today would be wherein we retain the original ballot and issue a new ballot package to the voter. The original ballot will be marked as canceled in the SURE statewide system, and it will also be marked with a red symbol, so it is readily identifiable as defective and locked in a secure cabinet within our ballot storage room. Newly issued ballots will be mailed from our vendor the next day and include an explanation to the voter as to why they are receiving a new ballot. Automatic ballot curing will continue up until the Friday before Election Day, at which point we will switch to notifying the voter that they or their designated agent need to appear in Norristown by the Monday prior to Election Day to complete a cancel and replace, or can choose to visit their polling location on Election Day and vote via provisional ballot. If the board chooses to pass this update today, a copy of this procedure will be placed on our website and provided to both parties promptly.
Great. Any questions?
No.
Okay. Great. Is there a motion to adopt the updated processes and procedures as contained in the accompanying document titled Procedure Ballot Curing dated 8/14/2026?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Winder. Is there a second? I'll second. Any board comments?
I'll just make a quick comment. Couple things, as Commissioner Makija was highlighting earlier, demonstrates that the current Act 77, we'll call it, is flawed. We know it's flawed. And it's unfortunately counties are put in a position to do things to ensure that we have a secure election and provide the ability for everyone to have an opportunity to vote. And the problem, again, was highlighted is we constantly have to have the PA Supreme Court ruling in and what I would call legislating from the bench and not being necessarily legislated in Harrisburg. And so, although I don't agree with part of a large portion of the whole curing process, because everything comes with an expense to the county. And quite honestly, at a certain point, I feel that voters have to take responsibility as well. It's not a complicated process to do a mail-in ballot. It's very well, the instructions are very clear. But also, we, as a county, by law, also have to provide a curing policy or curing procedures to provide voters that are using the mail-in ballots as a way to vote. We have to give them and provide them the opportunity to fix their ballots. So, like I said, although I don't necessarily agree with having a process in place, it's something that we are required to do. And I am glad that one of the things I raised up when I was reviewing the policy was that the ballots themselves that are being canceled will be, there will be a marking on the outside of the envelope distinguishing those ballots as being canceled, as well as being canceled through the Shore system. So I appreciate that change to the policy as well. So thank you.
Great. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the motion passes and we've updated the policies. Thanks. Any closing comments?
I just want to take a moment to thank Mira and Frank and whoever else worked on the curing policy. I know it probably was a labor of love getting to this point, so just want to say a note of thank you. I think we'll have some very happy kind of party leadership and community in terms of how we're helping people correct, ballots that have mistakes. So thanks to the team and John, I'm sure you played a role too. So thank you. That's it.
I've just a quick comment. I know that, I apologize for not going out and checking recently, but I know that I requested that as we were moving into the election season for the general election, that we could potentially put a high-level schedule on the website so that people could actually understand all the major steps that occur in the election process, because a lot of people believe that after election day that we don't do anything and why it takes so long to get results. And although it's a painful 3-week process after election day, there's a lot going on, and I feel that if we could put on our website under voter services, wherever we'll put it, just putting the high level, key objectives or procedures or initiatives, whatever we call it, that occur as we are going up to election day, and then also what's happening after election day. And I think that could alleviate some of the stress out there of why people believe it takes longer than it should when they don't quite understand all of the steps that are occurring with adjudication, tabulation, military ballots coming in. I mean, it's just so many things that happen that are happening behind the. When I say behind the scenes, it's, I call election day, in-person election day, as like everybody knows what's going on, right? Because there's news media, results, preliminary results, everything's happening, but there's a 3-week process kind of after that. There's still, a task or things that are going on as well. So I was just to just provide a quick update on, are we going to be able to get something up? Is it up? Like I said, I apologize if it is. I didn't check.
Commissioner, thank you for bringing it up. It should be up on September 1st or the first week of September. We heard you loud and clear. We also think that greater transparency will help everyone, particularly the folks in voter services who are working very hard, starting now basically,
Right,
up through the 3 weeks to 4 weeks after Election Day. So that will be up on the website along with a lot of other information. We're going to do a revamp of certain parts of the website, so we are hopeful that more information will help everyone have a safer and more secure Election Day.
Great, thank you.
And one thing that I would just ask, just leading up to the November election, if we could just start scheduling out the election board meetings so the public also has awareness of that as well, that would be helpful.
Great point.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just add a couple other comments to close. One, thank you to Mira, Frank, the team for putting this together, and Ben as well. I think it's a great thing that in the Southeast, we're continuing to find ways to help every voter feel confident that their vote will be counted, because there are a lot of reasons people are concerned right now. And I agree, Commissioner DeBello, we should have that posted. It's really helpful for people to know about everything that happens before and after the election, and also to understand why the tabulation takes so long sometimes, and it may, and certainly it takes longer for a lot of different reasons that the legislature could fix. But from our end, one of the things that is happening right now is that we're considering whether we would move to a different system of voting machine. And I think that process should happen quickly if we want to get it in place by next year, because we don't want to test something new in a presidential year. So, I'm looking forward to hearing from the team on that. I just thought I'd give everyone here, I know we've all had our individual meetings about it, but I thought I would raise that. But, anything we can do from the administration perspective that gets our results in faster, that ensures more ballots will be, identified if there's issues and corrected beforehand, is a good thing. So, great. With that,
Well, I'm sorry, quick question,
ahead.
because I wanted to bring this up, because everybody keeps asking me, and I'm like, I don't know. Do we have a tentative date of when the mail-in ballots are gonna go out?
Yes, yeah. Good.
Thought you were going to ask that.
Pardon me?
I figured you were going to ask that. So I think that there's still some disputes happening in court. I don't think they've all been decided, but go ahead, Mira.
I will get back to you, Commissioner. Obviously, with the head of voter services not here today, I don't have that date off the top of my head, but I will get it for you. I'll get it for everyone, and I will make sure that all of the commissioners are aware of that date. And we will also make it public.
Right, well, if we're gonna get up the schedule on September 1st, which.
It'll be on there.
It'll be on there. We're not that far away from September, believe it or not, we're not that far away from
We
September
sure
1st.
aren't. We sure aren't. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Great. All right, is there a motion to adjourn the August 20th, 2026 meeting of the Montgomery County Election Board?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Bello. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Winder. Any board comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.